Heck.
I'll take 2 Berettas, please.
Let's punish the Punisher.
Here it is, The Punisher, Warzone. We open with the Marvel Knights logo. Then we get a credit sequence in which the Punisher watches the news. It's telling us there's a mob boss that was let go. There's crooked judges and all sorts of New York-y crime Punisher stuff. We get an establishing shot of New York. We're in New York, guys. No more Miami or
where
Seattle.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they
We
do
don't even spend any time in Puerto Rico.
none.
No.
Not even for a family reunion. Although many characters refer to like this town. Well, in this town, it's ... or you'll never do something in this town. Like it's so provincial. It's like, oh, you mean one of the biggest in the world? Yeah, you're probably right.
Well, and like they were trying to like not specifically mention it was New York, but there was the Empire State Building.
Yeah. Or no, it was New York. I don't feel like they were trying to show you. Yeah. Yes.
So, all right. Let's see, we get a New York establishing shot. We're introduced to Billy the Butte Risotto. He's an up-and-coming mafioso. He's going to make it in this crazy town, this business. 2 cops on a stakeout, Baldy and Soap.
I felt like the McMansion looked a lot like the one Travolta had.
It did. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
it
it's
definitely
generic.
did.
It's generic, but yeah. Anyway.
Oh yeah, definitely generic. But yeah, I wonder if that's just a mansion that they shoot at a lot.
It's the same like rap music video mansion that everybody uses.
Yeah.
Or soap pornos. Which are pornos based on the sitcom Soap from the late 70s.
I loved the one with the who's the boss lady in Benson.
Yeah, it's called Getting a Mulligan.
Richard Mulligan and Billy Crystal and the puppet was a really heavy scene.
The puppet watched. Okay.
Soap was an amazing show. So all right, Baldy and Soap are on.
Too.
Yeah, there's Baldy and Soap are on a stakeout. Soap says he wants to arrest the Punisher. Baldy admires what he does. In the house, Billy meets with the head of the family, who's a very spicy meatball.
Yeah, he really is. Very Italiano.
It's very like, it's like, why you no taco with your accent no more? Like levels of like, wow, this is bad.
It's like Mario and Luigi's voice.
Yeah,
Totally.
it's like, it's a me, Mafia.
Yeah.
Mafia Brothers.
Mafia Brothers.
Nintendo Dark.
He's like, you're crazy like your brother. It's like his nickname is Looney Bin Jim, so it's just funny to even bring it up to this guy.
Looney Bin Jim. And I kept thinking Looney Tunes like he was going to be Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
He kind of was at times.
That's true. Yeah, great point. Because he was just mayhem. Yeah, maybe more of a Tasmanian devil than Bugs Bunny, but yeah, definitely cartoonish destruction.
I likened him to a spider monkey at one point.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. So, all right.
I like to think that there's a third brother who's just a little off, and he's Walmart greeter Gary.
The third brother plays the Scarlet Witch.
He needs like an FDR acronym.
That's true. He's not LBJ. That came out of nowhere. It's like, oh wow, it is though.
All right, so Billy is arranging for biological weapons to be brought in by the Russian mafia. The Godfather does not like that and says, "Don't do it." Then everybody except Billy goes downstairs for dinner. And what a dinner it is. The Punisher arrives and kills everybody at the table by spinning upside down from the chandelier.
Why does he need a fucking road flare?
Yeah. Because he turns the power off. But
before I kill everyone, dramatic lighting.
There was a very liberal amount of neck snapping.
Yes, there was.
I hate when neck snapping happens because it can be done, but it's a lot more difficult than they make it look. But
Yeah.
Frank was just like grabbed his wife, just like neck snapping right and left.
He's just like pointing at people and their neck snaps.
First thing he did, he went straight for the elder Cesare and cut his head clean off,
Oh yeah, and it
which
rolled.
is also a difficult thing to do.
yeah.
Yes,
Frank is just that good.
it's just that good.
As far as the road
Whatever he
flare is
is.
concerned, A, so he could see himself, and B, scare tactics. I think
So
it
he
was
could
just-
see himself. He's like, I gotta see my hand.
Not
Snap
so
back.
he could see himself, but so he
Yes.
himself can see.
It
Yeah.
illuminated the area. Yeah, and we said it before, but he has Batman vibes, Batman energy sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
He'll use the shadows to scare you and then fuck you up.
That's the thing about the darker superheroes is that they are just really super drama queens.
Yeah.
Yes. Just maladjusted, whiny often.
Very
That's-
theatrical.
Yeah, Jude and I talk a lot about Star
Histrionic.
Wars, maybe too much about Star Wars, more than any two humans maybe should talk about it. But and our number one takeaway is that the Sith are fucking dramatic bitches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're queens, man. They just love
Lord.
the attention.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're just all about the show.
Yeah,
It
if they could
applies
do
to a
shit in
lot.
secret, they'd get a lot more done.
Absolutely, but they've got to,
They
yeah,
just
they've got to
can't.
put it on for everybody.
You just had to sign your crime, didn't you?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I do it in secret until my grand reveal.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
All right, so Billy gets away. He just kind of disappeared. He was up in the room and then he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They showed him on the balcony. Basically, he said to Pitsy, "Let's get out of here." So
Yep.
If
Were they
only the
doing the,
other
like-
moth.
The cousins at the family dinner thing, like, hey, let's go for a walk. Let's go outside and smoke a joint or something. Is that why he wasn't
Right.
at the table? Like, it seemed very like he was like a juvenile
Yeah,
in
he,
the family.
he was definitely still mad about being told no when he wanted to allow the Russian mafia to bring a biological weapon into New
Yeah.
York City.
No,
You guys never let me do anything.
I was like, well, this is one time I'm lucky that I sit at the kids' table at these things.
What's up, Al?
He in the scene right after Cesare told him he was as crazy as his brother Looney Bin Jim. That's when he gets mad and he says, "I'm not eating with that shitbag."
Okay.
Oh, and that's right before he says, I shit in a bag. That's really funny.
That was
Yeah.
right after he said,
Oh.
"I shit in a bag."
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Shit in a bag, dick in a box.
Whatever you're into.
So, all right. Yeah. On Punisher's way out, he's spotted by a cop who gives him his car. Is that what
Yeah,
happened?
Yep,
Yep.
tosses them the keys.
He has got. That's like some OnlyFans level of like.
Yeah, he's simping for the Punisher.
Yeah.
I like
Oh.
some attention to detail on his after killing all the guys on his way out the mansion before the cop finds him. He's sniffing a lot.
Okay.
Just as he's walking by. Later, he like has to reset his nose with a pencil using a
The
pencil.
septum,
Ah.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Huh.
yeah, there's that attention to detail that they just had him like sniffing about 5 minutes before they reveal his.
Did he get
nose is
pistol
broken.
whipped or something in the face? I didn't even see him.
He headbutted somebody.
Oh, that's what
Okay.
it was. That makes sense.
That's
brutal.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a very brutal movie. It was a
Yeah.
hard,
Yeah,
hard.
yeah,
R.
there's
Yeah.
some.
You know, I will say this about that scene where he resets his nose. As somebody who has had their nose broken, there's a lot more blood involved, regardless of how
yeah.
badass you are. And that would have been really cool to have him just bloody nose, just like
Gushing.
killing
Yeah.
people.
But to
Ooh.
Al's point, there is a scene even towards the end with LBJ mocking him, like pointing out where he would be hurt and should be hurt. You know what I mean? And just proving
Yeah.
that the Punisher either ignores the pain, likes the pain, but definitely fights through the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, so Billy heads to his recycling factory.
Yeah, he fell into a vat of bottles.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's a
that-
glass magnate.
A glass magnate.
It's like I got the homeless in
Only
this
I-
town wrapped around my finger
Only I know the recipe. Glass.
to recycle glass. A big glass
Hey,
blender.
At least he's environmentally conscious.
Yeah, he's our first green villain besides maybe what's his face
Poison
from
Ivy.
Superman.
What about
Yeah.
Poison Ivy?
Oh well, yeah.
But it just gave me, VAT vibes.
Yeah, he put into a vat. He should have become the bottler.
He's a goner. Yes, he certainly is a goner. But
Okay, so yeah. Billy expresses that he's glad that the mafia boss is dead. We meet McGinty and his urban people gang.
he was so offensive that if I say why he was offensive, I'll sound offensive.
Everything
If
about
you
this
get my
character. Everything about this character.
Like, of course they're African. Of course they're a black Irishman. But that's what I just want to call him out on.
I
Makes
kept
me a
getting
dick.
like last night when I was watching this, I was like, God, I keep getting this like, is he supposed to look like Lenny Kravitz? Like I feel like I'm like that's offensive for me to say, but he was like short of leather pants, looking like Lenny
Yes.
Kravitz.
He's like,
Okay.
how are you going to get
Dreadlocks
to
and
that
everything.
building? He's like, look, are you going to go my way? Or are you going to go the Bush way? Kravitz.
But he had a Lucky Charms level Irish accent.
Yes.
His name is McGinty.
McGinty.
McGinty and his meth addicted urban free flow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they explicitly state that they are meth addicted.
Yes,
That's their
how they
superpower.
bounce around buildings. They're not great at parkour. They're just
their
they're just
parkour was hilarious. They were just climbing up ladders and jumping down.
Right.
It was like
Yeah.
White. It was
just-
White and Michael Scott level parkour.
yeah. They're like, yes, exactly. They're meth heads thinking they're pulling shit off.
In their minds, it looks great.
Yeah, exactly. I totally did a backflip.
Awesome. I loved it. All right. So we find out that one of his guys is wearing a wire. The FBI is listening.
And it wasn't Billy, ironically,
No.
who was on
and-
the wire.
Oh, yeah. So Billy sends McGinty and his guys down to the port to do something.
The
The docks to do something. I'm very unclear what they were supposed to do.
Shady shit happens at the top.
Like
They
just-
were supposed to hand out some money. I'm assuming bribes to make people look the other way, and not look at the Russians, whatever's coming in.
Oh yeah, he sent
Okay.
them with a bunch of bills. That's right.
Oh yeah, and
This is how they do that in a general, like putting out a flyer, like it's a boat show or something. And they all just show up to get their.
well, yeah, and we find out he's getting low on money, and he's like, "Where's the money?" And they're like, "It's down at what's his face's house."
It's at Bill's house and Jim's house.
And
There's no
Donatello's
money.
house.
Donatello and Raphael.
It was
Yeah, it's not your money if you don't keep it. You know,
That-
once it's money,
that is
it's
true.
just possession is 9/10 of the law.
I
with
have
money.
found that.
But
Yeah,
Mob money, it 100% belongs to the mobster that's holding it.
Yeah, as we saw
But
in
it-
Batman, with the Joker sitting on the pile of bills.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, you know.
it's the Joker's money now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Frank sneaks in. He kills the mob guy wearing a wire. He finds out he's an undercover agent and gets all sad. All hell breaks loose. The FBI comes in. They try to get Frank. Frank throws Billy into his vat of bottles. And the whole time, Billy isn't trying to climb out. He's just angry, yelling at Frank about it.
Screaming with his hands out of the glass.
I hate you, Punisher. I hate you.
Curse this inevitable end.
Yeah.
Frank escapes and heads down to his underground hideout in the subway.
Always underground. Yeah.
Yeah. It was not as clean as
That's
the
Dolph
sewer.
Lundgren.
It
Yeah.
was very lived in. Like
Nothing will
the
ever be.
the love seat and he
Yeah.
had like a dirty coffee table full of
Yeah.
like I assume gun magazines.
one
Right.
magazine and one copy of Mademoiselle.
In case somebody comes over.
Then let's see. We discover Billy survived, although he's been terribly scarred.
And he had an iconic super villain scene where he's wrapped up in bandages.
Oh, yeah, that's
sitting in a chair.
that's coming up. We're not there
Oh.
yet.
Okay, my bad.
We get the funeral for dead FBI guy. We meet his partner, his widow Angela, and his child Grace. Angela and Grace, wasn't that a '90s sitcom about like a pair of Southern ladies? So we discover that his partner Paul, Mr. Booty, wants to go after the Punisher. He promises the widow he'll bring the Punisher to justice. Frank, of course, is watching from the shadows,
Feeling guilty.
from afar, as they always do in every fucking funeral on film ever.
I wish they had him in a black dress with an umbrella. Just shot from a ways away.
So I have a question about this. Frank killed a guy that was undercover,
Yeah.
and he discovers it. Don't you think Frank would just be like, "Fuck, I used to do that job."
Yeah,
That
I
shit's
know what's
rough.
up. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird to just all of a sudden they mention once again 5 years of operation. He's like, oh, that was the first time he's been indiscriminate when
Yeah.
shooting at a crime scene. I don't know.
I don't know why this one really got to him. Maybe it's because he had a wife and a kid.
Well, he says he had a family. Does he think none of those like gangster
Bad.
guards kills have families?
Well, no,
He's-
they're evil families.
Yeah, they're evil. Exactly. He snapped the matriarch's neck at the
Yeah,
table.
that's true.
She went for a gun. I mean,
She shouldn't
Yeah,
have married
family.
a dick.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, going back to comics, that 12-issue run that was called Widowmaker, that story arc, that was about 5 widows of criminals that the Punisher had killed, who
Okay.
band together
That's awesome.
to try and seek revenge against the Punisher. So
They
That
made a
is
movie about
Their
something
wives.
like that recently. But that's an awesome storyline. But I think it was called The Kitchen. I think it took place in Hell's Kitchen. It was like Melissa McCarthy,
oh
then
yeah,
African American actress, then other white actress. But
Huh.
anyway.
yeah. I remember that. I didn't see it, but yeah, I remember them promoting that. That's interesting.
Yeah, they like plan a heist or they try to get revenge on the dirty cops that put their husbands in the ground.
No.
That would have been a really cool Punisher movie. Actually, I would
Yeah.
100% watch that.
Yeah, that's
Oh, hell yeah.
Toy-
Well, the rights have reverted to Marvel.
Well, and Johnny
Or,
Bernthal's great.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah.
All right, so Frank has by a happy coincidence, his family's grave is in the same graveyard.
But we've got another body here.
And so we get some flashbacks to that fateful picnic.
Yeah, so they're not at a family reunion on a tropical beach.
No.
They're having a picnic. What kind of mafia is going down in this idyllic park? Perfect for a
It's Central
picnic?
Park in the comics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that wow in the comics
This
Like-
this is so far the closest
the most accurate?
to the comics that Frank's death has been portrayed on screen.
Yeah.
Doesn't
definitely.
help my question anymore, but I understand. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
what
not
kind-
at all important. But
No.
just like a guy
not.
playing frisbee, a little kid flying a kite, 3 guys in the off to the side.
Yeah.
Just seem to
Somehow
be
they're
doing a
collateral
mafia
damage.
Right.
Yeah.
It seems maybe they shouldn't schedule their mafia hits in the middle of the park, in the middle of the day,
During softball season.
right? In Strawberry Fields.
Just hacking and sacking.
Yeah. So, all right. Paul heads into the New York PD to try and catch the Punisher. He's joining up. He's the liaison from the FBI, he says. They send him to the basement to partner up with Soap. Soap gives Paul a rundown of Frank's tragic backstory. Picnics and all. Picnics. Meanwhile, in the subway, Frank is packing up a bag of money. He's visited by his buddy Microchip. Microchip's a weapons guy. He's it's like I'm on like SaudiJihad.com.
Yeah. Well, and it's
I-
gun season in Virginia. It's gun
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
season in Virginia. It's such a
Season.
great thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great line, yeah.
So yeah, Micro tries to convince Frank to continue fighting. Frank's like, I'm sad, and I'm going to give some cash to the widow.
Sad, yeah. I killed one guy that didn't deserve it. I've only done that once.
Just once, I
Yeah.
swear. Then we find Billy wrapped in bandages, doing the Joker scene.
Yeah, there you
He's discussing with his guys that the FBI mole had a bunch of Billy's money. He wants to take it back. The doctor arrives and takes off the bandages.
go. How's the skin going?
Yeah.
So
Dark man moment.
he is yet another casualty of bureaucratic bungling and U.S.
Yeah.
health insurance.
He does, yeah. Jigsaw brings that up.
Gets
Like,
stuck
know-
at the public health clinic.
Yeah, if Bernie Sanders had his way, this would never have happened.
he'd look awesome.
Yeah,
I just
there
want
would
to
have
point out
been
the
no
cameo here.
foresight.
Cass Anvar, who is no longer on The Expanse for obvious reasons. But yeah, he is the plastic surgeon,
Oh, okay.
which is interesting.
So all right. Billy is displeased with his new look after the bandages are removed. He kills the doctor. He names himself Jigsaw after the first thing he saw through the window.
Yeah, no, but he could have gone with Lady Liberty.
He stabs him in the skull with scissors, not in the
Yeah.
temple, in the
Oh.
forehead.
A lot of gruesome head damage in this.
Yeah, that's not feasible. That's like you need like a hydraulic press to put scissors into someone's forehead.
It's gonna take a lot. Yeah,
Or you
yeah,
need
because it's this motion.
or you need the strength of a puzzle.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
How
a
many
real
pieces?
difficult one. Yeah,
I'm sorry, the proportionate strength of a puzzle.
like an ant.
So he tells his men.
But you have the power of whatever the jigsaw puzzle is. It's like power of Labrador puppies.
Oh no, it's a gazebo. All right. So
Jigsaw.
parkour. So he tells his men they have 3 goals. The first goal is to get his money back. The second goal is to kill Frank Castle. I never found out what the third goal was. He
Yeah.
didn't, just
Dude.
trailed off.
Did he say explicitly 3 goals?
Yes,
I thought he said 2, but I'm trying to.
I thought he said 3. I swear he
I
said.
didn't-
No,
I
yeah,
didn't
I read
notice
this.
that he enumerated the goals, but
I thought
One
he
was
specifically said 3 goals.
He said, "Kill Frank Castle, and then also I'll make sure you never have to see your reflection again." Because I had written down like,
that,
but
No,
that's
no, no,
much-
That's the
that's
brother
What?
saying that. That's the brother saying
Oh.
that to Jigsaw later on.
gotcha. Yeah, all right, fine.
So it was get his money, kill Frank Castle. In order to kill Frank Castle, they got to get Looney Bin Jim out.
Yeah.
Or
And then-
James.
Yeah.
Don't-
And
don't
this is the
call
point
him
where he's
Jay.
like, don't call him that. He's not LBJ. He's
Yeah, that's right.
not even a JFK.
I thought
What
Jigsaw.
else do I have to say?
I thought I thought Jigsaw with his like over the top New York accent and his scars, he reminded me of Ben Grimm. He reminded me of the
Ah.
Thing.
I could see that.
Yeah.
So all right. They're gonna go break out James. We get a little bit of Frank just being sad, looking at school children.
Right. Sad. No, creep.
Right. Just standing outside of a school watching children.
Not blinking, not making a sound.
Can't do that.
If
Frank.
there is such thing as a red flag, it was that guy.
The teachers were totally like, kids, get inside, children.
It's like, are you picking up your kid? Hopefully.
So, all right. Then Jigsaw and his boys go to break his brother James out of a mental health facility, which they then do. James does not get his applesauce, but he does get his kidneys.
He's a kidney enthusiast.
He is. He
He knows
loves.
a lot about kidneys.
He mentions kidneys multiple times.
Yeah, he knows what's up.
So, is it just me, or do James and Billy have a really good brother, like sibling relationship?
It's
They're
way
very
tight.
supportive of each other. And they
They
understand
really
each
are.
other's needs and wants.
They
And
really do.
Yeah.
They help
Well,
each other out. They go out of their way to help each other, like feel
James
better
was-
about themselves.
James was probably, had behavioral issues, before they gave him the crazy nickname. But you know what? He
Hey.
probably had to stand up for his little brother all the time. Like, he's not crazy.
Yeah.
You're the one that's crazy.
He just likes to eat people's organs.
That's all.
While they're
That is
alive.
all.
While they
That's it.
watch you eat them. Yeah. So, all right. So they get him out. Then that night, Frank goes to give the money to Angela. He meets and befriends Grace, her daughter.
Another
But-
creeper moment.
Yeah, but the widow Angela is unhappy finding a strange, scary man on her porch giving her daughter presents.
Yeah. Sounds right.
He
With a
refuses-
bag of cash.
Yeah. He
Yep.
refuses the money, says, fuck off, Punisher. Frank wants her to kill her. He's like, just do it.
Just do it.
Well, and he leaves the money there.
No, he takes it with him.
I thought he left it there.
No,
I
when
thought he
he's
just left
walking
it on
away,
the
he's
porch.
carrying the bag.
Oh,
She told him to get it out of there.
because she didn't say no twice. You have to get multiple no's, in that awkward gift giving situation.
You do.
You do.
Like when
And-
they-
It's like, are
Offering
you
to pay
sure though? Because it's like $100,000. I mean,
Are you sure? Angela says drops an F-bomb, and the little girl's like, "That's a dad word," and all I could think was Modib. My name is a dad word,
My name is
like shenanigans. That's a fucking dad word.
Yeah, it is. Woo. All right. So let's see. Jigsaw and his guys visit his brand new hotel, which he was inherited, but they have to spend the night there, and it could be haunted. Yeah. So he got a hotel, I guess, and his brother's supportive of Billy's sense of self-worth, so he smashes up some mirrors.
Yeah.
They-
Movies have told me that if you can afford the very top penthouse office, you can get as evil as you want to up there. You can remodel torture devices, labs with Kool-Aid bubbling.
The Crow, the business.
The Crow one was crazy.
a ski slope.
Yeah, a ski slope. There you go.
Yeah.
The Crow was like a sleek outside modern skyscraper, and then like a dungeon inside.
Yeah.
Change.
The sex office.
Yeah.
Sex office, yeah.
Yes. The non-consensual sex office.
They have a meeting with the Russian mob. They firm up the deal for the biological weapons to come into the country, but the price is now 12 million instead of 10. Next day, Frank follows a gangster-looking guy buying guns, follows him back to Micro's place. Micro's like, he's cool. And he's like, are you sure? He just walked into your apartment.
Like a friend would. He's all Latin kings.
That
Yeah,
is some profiling.
Yeah, there's some racial overtones there to that. And
Yeah.
he's like, once they can't not be. I don't
Once you pop, you can't stop.
know. Exactly. As if he, Frank Castle himself, has not gone through incredible changes in his life.
Yeah.
He's like, but this kid, he's pegged.
Which
So they-
is valid.
It's a good plan on far as Micro's part. Just like get this guy to buy the guns off the street and then give to Frank.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's like-
from one set of outlaws to the one outlaw.
Yeah,
yeah,
for
they're not
seeming.
going to recirculate.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Frank does drop his guns a lot.
I was going to say, yeah, he does litter his handguns.
Someone's going to
Yes.
pick those up. And,
The disposable gun movie thing. Yeah.
yeah.
'Cause
Out of
if
bullets,
you-
no good. It's a bic.
If you buy him out of the back of a Oldsmobile sedan, then they're probably the serial numbers are probably already scratched off.
Oh, I imagine so, yeah.
It's been my experience.
It's the same with appliances. That's how I got my fridge.
Like, is this Discman hot? They're all, no, it's 2021.
Is that a speak and spell? So, all right. Frank decides to leave town. Micro convinces him to stay by telling him that Billy is still alive and is going to go after the widow. Frank agrees.
I wanted
They
to
got-
see the side movie where Frank rides the rails, just jumping trains and living the hobo life. helping farmers out,
traveling from town to town,
punishing,
murdering people,
punishing. I'm gonna punish.
punishing. Yeah,
It's
murder is pretty punishing.
Yeah, he's all. This is punishment. I've decided, and my sidekick verbal warning.
Frank agrees to take out Billy, but then says he's leaving after that. Soap and Paul look for Frank by listening into the police scanner. Jigsaw follows the widow. Carlos gets word about the Jumpy Boys having a deal go down, and Frank accosts them for information. Or at least McGinty. The other two, he just pops off.
Yeah.
They
He
learned
blew up that first guy mid-jump with like a rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That
he
was pretty
shooting
hilarious.
squirrels. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I don't
That is some
understand
good aim.
why they all just stop.
Right.
Just
I would keep
like deer
jumping
in
around.
headlights. Like, oh, that guy's shooting a gun at us. Let's
Better
just stand here.
Freeze.
Oh
Yeah.
wait, he's putting that gun down and picking up another gun.
Right?
I bet he's gonna use that one too.
I better not duck behind any sort of cover.
Yeah. Like, as a
Shooting
guy
yell
who jumps
parkour.
for a living,
I'm gonna stand.
this is the
still.
time you do it. You know?
The
Like,
guy who jumps for a living.
it's their only ability.
He's been working in the jumping mines.
Jumping business is rough.
But you're right about killing the first two guys. That's not real, it's like I'm gonna assume they know nothing. And
Yeah.
this guy's the guy with the info.
It's
Well,
McGinty or nothing.
It's McGinty.
And he shoots the first guy with a fucking rocket, which you
Yeah.
can see, like, oh, that came from that direction over there, and they're all
Right.
like staring at him, making eye contact with the guy, who
And
then
this
picks
is-
up
As he
another
shoots him.
gun.
Yeah.
And then he's the dude that's emotionally conflicted about accidentally killing that one cop, and then shoots bazookas off in the alleys of New York.
Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
if he had missed the jumping
Rocket
guy,
launchers.
Oh, the building, like,
Yeah.
way
yeah,
back
he would have
there
killed
would've
some
been
like
gone.
family in a tenement somewhere.
Yeah.
He's not a good guy. He's
No.
nor is he thinking ahead at
Conflicted
all.
at best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. He learns that Jigsaw is going after the widow,
The willow.
the willow tree. Paul and Soap happen upon Frank and McGinty as McGinty dies. Paul goes after Frank. They fight. Paul manages to handcuff him and take him into custody.
Frank
So-
slows his fall from the roof by stepping on McGinty's head.
Yes,
he
yeah,
does.
brutal.
Ooh.
And that's the end of Colin McGinty.
After he's been impaled on that fence, after the Punisher bounces off his head and lands, he doesn't even look up at the car that's right there, like total horse blinder
Yes,
thing.
no.
It
Yeah.
just walks straight off camera.
Yeah.
Well, this
I wrote
how
down
small
just
is
like-
New York?
It seems very. That's what
You know?
really.
Yeah.
They're not
But I
even
did
fighting in
like-
Hell's Kitchen. They're fighting in one corner of one street. You know,
Off
like
in the same alley, it seems.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the way he crossed, Al just said the way he crossed in front of the car without looking, I totally wrote down like Bigfoot. That's exactly how Bigfoot interacts with them. Just like, there's nothing to the right or left of me.
Let's see. Jigsaw and his guys arrive at Angela's house. They take her prisoner, demand to know where the money is, start tearing the house up. The cops agree to have a welfare check done at the widow's house, so they send in some uniformed officers to take a look. James kills them just immediately.
Yeah.
They walk in and let him go behind. Like, they are bad cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the guy clearly has cuts and a bandaged face. Like, yeah, he may have a potential for violence.
Is
Well, yeah, and they
everything
say,
all right?
and he says, no,
It's not.
it's
As a
not.
matter of fact.
Well, and not to mention, at this point, there'd be an APB for a guy who escaped from a mental hospital and killed, his caretakers.
Yeah.
Well, and then somebody does mention it later, I believe, one of the cops, but why wasn't she under protection? At least for a little while, just
Yeah.
in case, her, they don't know the Punisher inside and out. So it's like, yeah, let's get some agents there because her husband was just gunned down.
And her husband is
criminal
such
she was
such an
undercover.
allegory, or like such a comparison to Frank, because
Yes. Yeah.
Jimmy
Um,
kills the cop with a sword.
yeah.
It's 'cause
It
he's
made
an
the sword
FBI agent,
sound.
He's got like a fucking katana hanging on his wall. Like,
We gotta start a tally for that where like the shing, the sound that happens when there's no logical reason.
Oh no. This movie, every time the jumpers jumped, it was like whoosh, 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 like every
Parkour.
time. Yeah.
With their
Capper
pants
got their
on
money's worth.
backwards. Yeah.
they jumped around. They jumped up, and they got down.
Yep. Tell us that last time.
All right, so let's see. Soap, Paul, and Frank head over to the the widow Angela's house.
That's what reminded me of Lethal Weapon. It's just like Joe Pesci in the back seat.
Yeah.
Frank Castle, of course, was Pesci, but yeah.
Frank, oh my God, I'd love to see Joe Pesci play the Punisher.
Yeah, he's done a lot of punishing in his career.
Yes. So they Paul goes in, immediately gets captured, luckily not murdered like the other cops.
they didn't have a sword or something ridiculous to kill him with.
Yeah.
Right. I love when James is looking for the money, which is a large amount. He flips over the coffee table. He's like, it's not under there. And then he throws the dishes one by
Right.
one.
He's just throwing the pot.
They're not here. Like, James, I know you're crazy, but I do need you to look for the money.
It's like, you're not helping. What you're doing is not helpful.
We got a time frame.
This is just petty vandalism, James. Come on.
At this point, they're microaggressions, James.
So
Macroaggressions. All right.
Frank convinces Soap to free him. Frank goes in, kills off most of Billy's guys. He just punches through the skull. Kid. Like right through his skull.
Yeah.
Um
The kid that has no idea where to do coke.
Yeah, he walks over, sets down his weapon, turns his back to the door.
Yeah, I understand the incessant need to do it. That's sort of built into the appeal. But just to do it wherever you are, just standing there.
Is that why his face is so fragile that Frank can just punch it
Oh, maybe.
Well,
Lack
we all-
of vitamin D.
Coke does make your forehead extremely thin.
Or maybe Frank was on cocaine. That makes you so strong.
He had some of the
Powerful.
jumpers math.
Nothing can stop you.
I am a badass now.
So all
You
right.
should hear about some of my ideas.
Yeah.
All right,
First of all, the
cocaine
earth is
humor.
flat.
Yeah, it's way flat.
All right. So
Concave.
Paul and Soap comes in. Paul and him like manage to take Jigsaw and James into custody after Frank escapes with Angela and Grace. Frank takes them back to his hideout and decides they're going to stay there until they get word that Jigsaw is safely put away in jail.
Oh, I caught something that's probably unrelated, but if it's unrelated, it's funny. But there was a guitar case. Wasn't it in the Tom Jane Punisher movie where there was an assassin that was a country singer, like sort of a
that's-
mariachi type?
What was his name? It was
He had a
Oh.
fun name.
Hank Heck.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hank Heck.
So then I thought, like, it's got to be a reference to that, because if it's not a reference to that, that means when Frank's not viciously, angrily plotting revenge, he's strumming the guitar, doing some like Harry Chapin tunes.
Yeah.
Some John Denver.
Yeah, some John Denver.
Sunshine on my shoulders.
He's like, what? I got feelings. I'm a person.
It's like, I don't express myself through murder. It's just what I do for a living.
I have 2 ears and a heart, don't I?
It's like so. This is an Ed Sheeran tune.
Yeah, 2, 3. Okay.
All right. So back at the police station, the FBI head guy arrives. He cuts a deal with Jigsaw to take down the Russians and their biological weapon in exchange for Jigsaw getting immunity and an as yet unrevealed to us perk. So they bust the Russians. The Russians vow revenge upon Jigsaw.
And for the first time ever in reality or fiction, the cops kept their word. Why would they do that? I would just be like, ha, we were lying all along.
Yeah.
Still going to jail.
Like, dude, you're gonna get
Nothing's
great
moving.
medical care in jail. So we just figure it's
Right.
for the best.
You
Well-
can go free. Your mental escapee brother can go free. You
Right.
can have the money
Right?
just because you got us to some Russians.
Like, no, that's not how that works. There's a lot of paperwork, at least.
And I don't
Well, yeah,
know
and
if
the
people
FBI
realize
is gonna
this,
be
but cops
pissed.
can lie to you.
And this all took place
Yeah.
over one night.
Yeah, the cops can legally lie to you
Absolutely
to get you to
legally.
cooperate.
Yeah, that's where that first Miranda right comes in.
Yeah.
Right?
Don't talk to us. We're gonna lie.
Yeah, that's the unsaid part of the first
Yeah.
Miranda right.
Yeah.
You have the right to remain silent because we're going to say some bullshit to you.
Yeah. You and your co-conspirators, we're gonna get you to rat on each other.
Yep.
They actually made their deal with the FBI.
yeah,
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
But and Homeland Security.
They lie
yes.
too.
yeah. The FBI also has the
It's
right to
true.
lie to you. Yes,
Yeah.
it's
The
not
law
just
enforcement.
local.
The
It's not
Supreme
just
Court.
local.
Yeah, the Supreme Court decided for reals. All right, but
Anyway.
All right, so let's see. Yeah, they fulfill their deal with Jigsaw and give him the identity of Microchip. That was the third part of their deal. Was like, oh, also we want to be able to kidnap and murder this guy. Cool.
he's like, yeah, he's a computer expert we've never seen on the computer, but he's got a lot of guns, so
His
that
name
makes
is-
sense.
His name is Microchip, and all he does is buy and sell weapons.
Yeah, he didn't hack into anything,
Yeah,
so
that's
it's got to
something
be
that
about his peenie.
the show did such a great job of doing, is showing that Micro was one step ahead of Frank
Yeah,
because of his ability. And Frank ultimately needed him because he was also
Savvy.
being blackmailed by him.
Yeah.
Which is what a hacker would do in that situation. Like, oh, you're a murderer? Well, I'll just blackmail the shit out of you, dog.
right. I'll get you your sensitive info.
So all right, Jigsaw and okay, wait. So no, all right. Then in his hideout, Carlos arrives. Frank puts him in charge of protecting Grace and Angela while he goes after Jigsaw. Jigsaw and James decide to recruit an army from the streets to kill Frank. We see that they have captured Microchip.
So did anybody else pick up on Blazing Saddles energy there? Just like
God.
a line of bad guys
Oh,
lining
yeah.
up to be
yes.
interviewed and then chosen.
And he's doing like a patent speech. Like,
Some of them have deep briefcases and like carpet bag type. Yeah,
The patent speech in front of the
Yeah.
like projector flag.
Oh
to
my
each
God.
ethnic gang.
Yeah, so
Right.
we had what? We had the Japanese,
Yeah,
like triads. We had
Yeah.
the Irish. There
yeah, the
was.
IRA type.
there was like your
Yeah.
kind of standard African American
Oh
gangbanger
yeah,
gang.
yeah, like like a
white people just think
Black
they
Street
look like-
gang kind of thing. Yeah, and
Yep.
then
The Backstreet's back. All right.
All right.
Um,
yeah, was that like a Wire reference? Because they were all wearing like FUBU bubble jackets and stuff.
I wonder.
I'm pretty sure that's just what white people assumed black people looked like
Right.
in
Yeah.
2008.
It would have been great if like the last gang was a furries or larpers or something.
Or just like white collar criminals,
Yeah,
Like,
white collar. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
like in Mystery Men. What were they? The frat boys or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Like we're the Brooks brothers.
Death by Ascot.
Yeah. Let's see. Frank discovers the scene at Micro's house, and Microchip's mother's half skull is still smoking.
Yeah.
And-
a lot of half skulls.
there's still like half of her brain kind of
Yeah.
poking out from the half.
Right.
Like, I don't know what they did, but they did a lot.
Well, there were so many. We saw so many instances of a head half blown off or all the way blown off that you could almost say it was this director's signature. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like she liked doing that because we saw a lot of people with just like a half moon.
That's what I'm saying. Like very Verhoeven-y, like
Yeah.
Total Recall, RoboCop, like era Verhoeven with
Right.
like that kind of gruesomeness.
RoboCop. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, it's very brutal.
Very.
So all right.
Like, was it Brian? Was it you that said something that it was a horror movie? Like,
Yeah.
if
Oh, yeah.
it-
This is
yeah,
totally a horror
a
movie.
kid horror movie. Not even
Starting
kid.
with Jigsaw's face every time you see his freaking horse eye.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Gary Oldman had that eye in Hannibal.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
freaked me the fuck out when I.
This is the closest to that I've felt, where I'm just like, oh god, like I do want to turn away. I understood why the henchman threw up immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, he was just strung out on gack as well. just twisted
Yeah.
teeth.
Well, and he's truly grotesque. Like
He is. He's
Ugh.
gross. Horse flesh. If I was
Yeah.
the doc, I would have left that out.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't have
I
mentioned
would not.
it.
I
to
wouldn't
him.
have closed with horse flesh. 'Cause you are getting some scissors in the head.
bad news first or good news first? 'Cause,
What's the good news? I didn't say there was any.
yeah, their equestrian donations are up.
He was the only viable donor.
Yeah.
Her name
We tried to
was
get the jockey, but he snuck away.
Little devils.
They're little. They run.
He hopped right onto another horse and was
They
gone.
scurry.
We got this horse with
Yeah,
apples.
do another horse.
I assume that his plastic surgeon was also a veterinarian
Did you
for the
run?
mob.
So, all right. So,
Yeah.
Jigsaw and James arrive at Frank's hideout. They shoot Carlos. They take the widow and the child.
They don't
back-
shoot Carlos. They axe Carlos.
Oh, we
Yeah,
got an.
because he's axing him. And I
Which-
will say, go
I'm
ahead.
gonna ask you a question.
Yeah, he used that joke twice.
Yeah. Then he followed it up. I'm gonna ask you another.
Yeah, I'd be like, all right, it worked once. Unless you can pull off a rule of three, which would be the little girl.
He
So
was
that's a bummer.
practically like, get it, axe you.
Oh,
Okay, but Frank and Carlos, when Frank finds him, there's a piece of dialogue that's worthy of any awesome war movie. Because he's like, I'll see you in hell. And he's like, if I see you in hell, I'm kicking your ass out. You know,
Yeah.
like the last
Yeah.
line to the kid in the squadron.
Yeah, 100%.
There's no way you're going to hell, kid.
that was very
Not if
Frank,
I have something
like
to say.
to show the redemption of the guy that he had no faith in. Whatever, that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
Racially
I
profiled.
will say this: that guy got axed 2 questions.
Well, it's the same
Twice.
question twice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you again. Yeah, that checks out.
And then okay, so Frank's first thing that he does when he walks up to this guy who is still alive with an axe in his chest is to remove the axe.
No, you don't do that. It's stopping the blood.
You know,
Does he ask
we
you
do
a
not
question?
offer medical advice at Harmless Phosphorescence, but if you know of anyone who is stabbed at this point in
Stabbed.
time and you are listening, do not remove the knife
Right,
Or
almost
the
any
axe.
stabbing, yeah.
Or the axe.
axe, if you
The
can manage it.
axe.
because
If you
it
can
may
get into
be
your car.
slowing the blood loss. You know, do not remove an axe. Take
Yeah.
them to a hospital and have them staunch the bleeding and remove the axe. Well, have professionals do that kind of thing. Frank's just like, oh
Yeah.
shit.
Oh, now there's an empty space. I guess your body's gonna fill it with
And he says to him,
blood
he's
and bile.
I've seen this kind of thing before. You'll be okay.
You're fine. This is not a punishing. This is
And the gang's
a
just like,
stern talking to.
it's like, what do you think I am, stupid? Look at this thing. Oh my god.
And then Frank has to old yeller him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
And covers his eyes and shoots him.
He's like, think about the party. Or
I know.
not-
Okay.
The red-
I was surprised that he was shot in black,
Yeah,
because
that they
he
didn't
covers his
show it.
eyes and then we get just darkness and hear a
Oh, yeah.
gunshot. Whereas, like, we watched him get axed in the chest. Who gives a shit? There was blood everywhere. Show
No,
us.
no, but this is good guy on good guy. This is man on man violence.
It was a weird.
Soap is familiar.
It was a weird artistic choice.
It was. Yeah.
All right. So Frank goes. He meets Paul in a church. Tells him that Jigsaw has Angela and Grace. Convinces Paul to help him secure the trip of Angela and Grace for himself.
This church has a neon crucifix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this church
This
is
is a
banging.
Vegas, like,
Yeah.
nightclub
Right, Vegas Chapel.
Catholic
Yeah.
chapel thing. Because
So
they had
when
the
these-
statues that were crying blood or whatever too.
And that the priest that came up to Frank was like vibing him hard. He was like, I didn't expect to see you back here, Frank.
I haven't seen you.
He's like,
in a
hey
while."
man, you still owe me for that MDMA from last weekend. What's happening?
Yeah, it is
From
rave
those silent clubs, he's just listening with headphones on the whole time.
church. He's got closed tits. He's like, "What's up, Frank? Not cool."
He's like, you know what Jesus wants? Jesus wants you to fucking get down.
That priest made it sound like Frank used to be in seminary school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I noticed that.
yeah.
Yeah, what's up
Like
with
they-
the life then.
Like,
They grew up together in that too. Like he knew him
yeah,
from
like-
seminary school.
yeah, they've known each other for a
Maybe
long
it's the
time.
other Simon.
Yeah, I was getting real Toby from The Office vibes. Like, yeah, and then I met a woman.
Not seminary, seminary.
Seminary. Yeah, like Toby.
Like soap.
Yeah. Yeah.
They all work together on that one film.
Oh no.
deep deep
Ang-
soap.
Angels in the infield. All right. So all right. So Billy and James, they do their recruiting thing, and they take up residence in their hotel. Soap and Paul tell the Russian mob where to find Jigsaw. Did the Russian mob not know who it was? Like, were they like, okay, so your son got turned into the FBI by some dude with a horse flesh face, but we don't know which one. It
Yeah.
could be any dude with a horse flesh face.
Right, exactly.
Okay, and they convinced the Russian mob to go attack him after he has recruited all the other gangs in town.
Yeah.
They didn't do this beforehand. They weren't aware of him recruiting all the gangs because they probably thought, oh, he's just holed up in this hotel by himself. The Russian mob is really bad at what they do, it seems, in this moment.
Well, they had a personal, vendetta. Why they weren't more proactive?
Yeah,
All
you
of
think
these-
they would attack him initially? Like, oh crap, we lost out. That's a lot of money for chemical weapons.
Well, do you
And you
notice,
killed my
biological.
son at your meeting.
you notice
Yeah.
every single one of
Evil
these
meaning.
mobs and gangs consist of 10 people who hang out in a room together at all times.
At all times.
Yeah. Smoky room playing cards together, whatever.
Right.
Like,
Every single mob is just 10 dudes that are playing cards together and smoking.
And one of them's named Turtle.
well, and I mean, in reality,
That's
these guys would
multicultural.
have 1,000 pawns that they would then send, but instead they show up to Jigsaw's
Yeah,
hotel.
exactly.
themselves,
What's
yeah.
on all the other floors of that building?
Right.
You couldn't round anybody up. 2 guys. If I went to a bar now, I'd get 2 guys to come out.
Well, they
fight.
showed that building. It's a good like 20, 30 floors, and Frank went up the stairs. So,
I don't trust elevators.
all right. So, Frank mounts up, heads to the hotel. Then he, Paul, and Soap watch. They're just standing outside on the sidewalk and watching the Russians go inside to do. The Russians infiltrate the hotel and start a battle with the other gangs. The Punisher goes in. He fights his way through the hotel upstairs to the penthouse, where he gets to have a one-on-one with James.
Yeah.
Well, and this, okay, I don't know. I think the Saw movies came out before this.
yeah.
But the bad guy from Saw is named Jigsaw, and he says to Punisher, "Do you want to play a game?"
Oh, yeah,
Shout-
he sure does.
Huh.
Which I'm pretty sure was them being like, "Wink, wink." Our
Okay.
Jigsaw came first, but here's a Jigsaw horror
Yeah.
reference.
Yeah, makes sense. Huh.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Is that a pool also?
Was it a pool?
I thought it was like a fountain that the water had been drained out of, and then they put a fire pit in.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
That's not. I don't think you're allowed to do that in your hotel room.
I mean,
Hey, on those
that-
top floors, you can get away with anything.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's reasonable. That is what it looked like.
It looked like a bathhouse pool, like not like a pool that
Turkish
you would swim
bath.
in, like a pool that like John Wick would kill people in or something.
Or that you would pour water over for steam.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah. So, all right. So Punisher fights James one-on-one. James runs away back to his brother, where he's keeping the hostages. Jigsaw forces Frank to choose between Micro or Grace. So it's like James has the gun on Grace, Jigsaw has the gun on Micro, and he's like, choose which one dies. Like, that's not even. I mean, come on.
I'm
It was
like,
always-
sorry, Newman.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Newman. Are you kidding me?
I was always going to go that way.
Just don't look at me.
Yeah.
It was cool. I will say it was cool the way that they handled it, where he's like, obviously, I'm going to shoot my pal and not some kid.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Well, and
Yeah.
it was like, whoa, because you're so used to in superhero movies, like them being just so unrealistically quick to pull it all off. And
Yeah.
he didn't save Micro, so it was like, oh shit, he just got capped in the brain.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's real. He
Yeah.
he still chose, even though he was intending to save them both.
What was funny was
real.
it did take Frank a minute. So after like he shoots James,
Uh-huh.
and then Jigsaw shoots Micro.
Uh-huh.
It took a little too long for Frank to run over in front of Grace.
Bigfoot stride.
Yeah, he was kind
I
of
got my
okay.
Bigfoot
I'm gonna
stride.
get there. Yeah, so
Getting his steps in.
Frank then just kicks Jigsaw's ass, stabs him sideways through with that spike thing.
He body
man.
slams him into the edge of that like pit so many times.
So many
He's broken
times.
all of his bones.
Yeah,
There's a lot of like wire work slamming people into the side of concrete things and tiles flying everywhere. Like a lot
Yeah.
of that.
somebody got Carlos? Somebody got hit in the face with like some concrete rubble.
Oh yeah, LBJ threw that at his head. That was the
Yeah,
first thing
I
that
was
he
like-
did to him. Was he threw
I
a
was like,
rock at his head.
whoa. Yeah.
He also
this is-
threw like shattered glass in his face,
Yes, he
like
did.
you would sand.
Yes,
Oh,
you're
yeah,
right. He
that's
did. Yeah, like the
right.
sand.
Yeah, like a pocket sand.
Yeah. Yes.
So all right, he frees Angela and Grace, kills Jigsaw, and throws Jigsaw in the middle of the fire and just lets him burn.
Yep.
Ooh, and his eyeball caught on fire very early.
Well, horse eyes do that.
They are
His eyeball
incredibly
caught on-
flammable. If you've ever seen a horse catch on fire, they go up just like that.
When I'm camping, I always take a bag of horse eyeballs to use as kindling.
Your eyes could just burst.
They make for a
into-
great snack too if you're if you're
The way
feeling
they-
famished.
The way they pop when you bite into
Ugh.
them. All right, so Frank meets up with everybody outside.
Uh-huh.
Angela and Grace say goodbye to Frank, and they go their separate ways. Frank and Soap walk away, and Frank like disappears from Soap. Soap gets mugged immediately, and Frank, in this dramatic scene where like Jesus disappears from the neon cross behind him. Frank shoots the mugger, and we roll credits.
Yep.
And that's the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I found it entertaining.
Yeah.
I thought the script was pretty good. A lot of it could have been a lot cheesier than it was.
Oh yeah,
That's high praise for us, but yeah,
it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
same.
Ray Stevenson was a little too
Rigid.
dry sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Very emotionless.
Yeah.
He was almost there. He could have had a little more anger or something like that.
Unless he was weeping at his the grave of his wife and children.
Yeah, exactly. He was all right, but I think if Thomas Jane had come back for this one and it was the exact same movie but with Thomas Jane, it would have been
That would have been cool.
much improved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I missed.
Stevenson.
I missed Tom Jane. Did you guys watch the Dirty Laundry video that I sent?
Oh yeah,
you
I've seen
guys-
that
Yeah.
before. The
Yes.
Thomas Jane, like the short Punisher film that he made.
Yeah.
Yeah. After this, I think maybe 2012.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was after this, wasn't it?
But it was fun to see him as the Punisher again. I watched it for the first time a couple days ago.
Okay.
Ray Stevens featuring the Streak album.
Different. Wait, is that a different race?
That's
I
Ray
like to-
Stevens. But yeah.
Yeah, this movie was gory, like it was just fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Not
I,
not a good movie, but lots of fun.
It gave me Toxic Avenger vibes at moments where it was too gory. Where I'm just like,
Little
oh shit, man, why did you have to kill Micro's grandma or Micro's mom like that?
yeah. Or jumping on a dude's head to like
Ooh.
Slow your
Yeah.
roll.
Or
jumping
pointing
off
a
of it.
gon at a little girl. You know, there were these moments that
Yeah,
like
there was a lot of that.
where it's like, why are we pointing a gun at the kid? Point a gun at the mom. You can
There were
kill the
Kaufman
kid
levels.
later.
Yeah.
Looney Bin Jim made me uncomfortable multiple times.
The namer has
Basically,
behaved.
every time he spoke.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he had crazy eyes.
Yeah, I did.
yeah, he did.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've got an unanswered question. Where was the money that the mole FBI mole mob guy had? The widow's.
I think that was the money that Punisher had in the bag to give to the Donatelli family.
How did he get that money?
I don't know.
Well, the FBI, that was part of the condition. They were going to give him the money. All he said was the money. They kept saying the money.
I'm so confused about the whole money thing. Like that was very unclear in this movie. Where the money was, who it belonged to,
Yeah,
going.
I thought this was all philanthropic.
Yeah, it could have been not a plot point at all.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
you could have
They
eliminated
kind of set themselves up when what's his face Jigsaw says like, we have 2 things on the to-do list: get my money and kill Frank Castle. It's like you could just be like, dude, there's only one thing that we're focused on right now. It's killing Frank Castle.
Yeah.
We'll figure out paying for it later.
Well,
Then
would've
we'll worry
made
about
just as
chewing
much
gum.
sense.
Well, yeah, right. Well, I mean, they clearly wanted a reason for them to have to go after the widow,
Yeah,
but like just like revenge against her husband being an FBI mole, I think would have been enough.
yeah, it's true.
I don't
Or just having them figure out that Frank felt guilty would have been enough. Like, oh, this dude feels guilty about killing the FBI agent.
Yeah,
Let's kill her family too. That'll make
He's-
him feel like shit. That'll really
his-
lot him up and get him out of his hiding place.
his only weakness is the murder of other people. It's like, oh, a lot of us are not into that, Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Ranking ain't easy.
yeah, you guys ready to rank the movie?
I feel like I never am. I have no problem with the rankings, but I feel like every time I'm caught unawares.
Well, let's see. Let's go down to our big list here, the rankings. Where do we have the other Punishers? Where are they on this list?
Oh my
56
God.
and
Punisher
57.
04 and 89 are next to each other.
Are they really?
Yes.
Well, we felt like they weren't all that different. You know, as far as comic book Punisher.
Oh, there they
went.
are. 56 and 57. This is what we're talking out of 78. This will be our 79th. So they are in the back half.
Well, like Al mentioned, this has more instances of canon, material than those first 2 did for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not necessarily.
Well, it's better than those 2.
It is better.
I guess I was just selling myself on my own idea. Yeah, but it's still better than the first 2, hands down.
I found it much more entertaining and a much more fun. Like it was just a more enjoyable experience watching it than either of the other 2.
Yeah.
I think it's a better movie than Crow City of Angels. That was the one with the sex.
The booths.
The sex office?
Oh, the sex office. Yeah. Hi, welcome to Sex Office. Not what you think.
Toxic Avenger Part 2. I think it was probably better.
I think it's better than that.
Hell, I think it was better than Jumper. We got Jumper up at 49.
It's better than Hero at Large, then, just de facto. If it's better than Jumper, it's got to be. So,
Was it better than Ghost Rider?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, Ghost Rider was crazy, but that was like 50% Cage.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't know. This was action packed. It
I
was a thrill ride that didn't stop.
I could see putting
March
it.
for the Penguins.
I could see putting. I could see putting it above Superman or TMNT 2. Once we get to Spider-Man 3, then it starts to become questionable. I feel like.
Yeah. But even though I liked Van Helsing, I think it's better than Van Helsing.
Yeah. X-Men Last Stand.
But do I? No, I like Spider-Man. Even though Spider-Man 3 was the worst of the lot, I do enjoy seeing Spider-Man.
Yeah,
So I don't
and
want to put it above that.
I don't know. What are Alan Bryan? You guys
Yep.
want to?
I don't know if I like this. Well, if this was better than Howard the Duck.
Yeah, it might have been. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's kind of like that's a hard breaking point for me is Howard, where I'm like, oh, but Howard was not comic book necessarily, but was fun and awful. But this was awful and comic booky, but like more horror than. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really hung up on the like, whoa, the shock factor of this movie. This is very
It was
different.
gory. It was
from
definitely
what?
gory. It's one of the
Yeah.
better scripts that we've had to listen to in a while, which is funny to say, but
Yeah.
a lot of the dialogue was natural.
Yeah,
Well,
But-
and Jigsaw was a just romp. That
yeah.
character.
This had
Yeah.
a lot of really great actors in some of
I
these
think
roles
so.
too. Yeah.
What you thinking, Al?
The highest I would put it is at 44 above Turtles 2.
Okay.
Okay, so under Spidey. So okay, so that is kind of our range then. From that down to from Daredevil up to Spidey, it's going to go somewhere in here. Well, so Brian is definitely for putting it below Howard. God, I can't believe we put Jumper up there.
Yeah.
Every week, I'm like, wow, why do you put that there?
We're basically throwing darts at the wall.
Yeah, we really
Yeah.
are.
Just grab a number around that
Uh,
area.
Yeah.
Do we want to stick it right below Howard then? Just put it in at number 52.
That's what she said? Yeah, stick it in. Do it.
Brian and Al?
Ah,
Eh?
Say,
Okay.
say stick it in.
stick it
Al,
in.
Do you want me to stick it in, Al? Dude,
Um,
Do you
and-
want
You
to
have
wiggle
to
it around
say yes
first?
or-
that's fine.
that's the same thing she said
Yeah, exactly.
when I asked that question.
Wasn't a no, wasn't a yes.
Like,
Alright.
that's
What,
why.
whatever, just don't wake me up.
This is all too familiar. All right, there we go. Punisher Warzone on the big list at number 52. That makes 79 movies we watch, which means next week we'll be watching number 80. And number 80 is The Spirit. OMG.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, this movie.
Samuel L. Jackson, right?
I believe, yeah, he's in that. Yeah.
There's a lot of good people in it, but yeah.
Directed by, what's his face? From
Franklin Xavier Miller, right?
Yeah, that's right. Frank Miller's one and only directing job.
Yeah.
Wow.
You-
So that's it for us this week, everybody. Thanks for listening to and watching Harmless Phosphorescence. This has been Krispy Kreme, motherfucker. Throw Smiley.
Oh, I'm Josh CC, and where the fuck is Nikki?
I'm Brian Lesh, and I'd love to get my hands on God.
I'm Alaric Weber, and now I've got brains splattered all over me.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye.